We're back. The Pacific Division.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Through the Pacific Division.
Uh,
Pacific Division preview.
all right. Let's see. Which first team is Anaheim?
Yeah.
I see them as a second place team.
Yeah.
Because it depends if what the Oilers do this year. I see them taking. We'll talk about the Oilers when we get to that point. But Anaheim, this is probably their last year being a contender. Their core is being old. They have a great defensive core. John Gibson finally carried them through the playoffs for once. It's kind of an issue still, but it's not of a bad issue. I mean, he carried him through the team. He didn't like freak out or didn't play well like the last two playoffs he was in. So this was a good season for them. They just gotta get over the hump and make the Stanley Cup final. I think that's pretty much it for Anaheim lately. Next stop, Calgary Flames. What do you think?
Dude, the Calgary Flames are a legit contender because they have
No.
Mike Smith. Only reason. Just because they have Mike Smith. They're
No.
a legit contender right off the bat.
No. I think Mike Smith is a good goalie. I don't understand why they need to take Mike Smith. Out of all the goalies, they took Mike Smith. He's old. He's not going to be their starter for long. Um, it's kind of a nerve-wracking thing because he could be on decline this year or next year, and that's get excuse me. Calgary can't kind of afford that. Um, I think they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be third in the division, but if Mike Smith struggles, it could be fourth because I don't see anyone else being better than Calgary, maybe than LA, if if that comes to a factor. But other than that, third or fourth is flying around their corner, and that the only reason why is Mike Smith and Eddie Lack. That is a little bit of a frustrating tandem, especially with Eddie Lack, who usually only has one half really good of the season. That was usually him. Mike Smith's a good goalie on a team, and he can prove me wrong that he can carry on a good team, but he's old. So the chances, it's just being honest.
That's it.
He's 35. He's like, what, 35
But
years
they got
old?
Travis Hamonic, man.
No. Yeah, that was a good trade. They probably had, like, Nashville-wise, one of the best D's in the league, potentially. On paper, it could all fall apart for some reason, but that's a good top four to have. So other than that, I think third and fourth is a perfect position to be them. They can be the third best team in the division or the fourth best team in the division. But because of that factor, and it's been a factor for a while. It's like a few years ago, it was like Jonas Hiller and Kerry Ramo, and that was a good tandem. And then it fell apart the next year, and then they went to Elliott and Chad Johnson. I don't understand why they got rid of Chad Johnson. I think he just went to Buffalo anyway.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened.
Buffalo.
But other than that, I thought they should have kept Elliott, even though he was really good at the end of the year, but they just didn't trust him. And they kind of shoot themselves in the foot if Elliott has a decent season in Philly, because that could solve one of their answers. But Calgary, it's a short term issue. So I mean, they're gonna have to find a new starter again, whether that's Tyler Parsons from in their developmental system or another goalie. For sakes, to probably just get Craig Anderson for a start for a year or two, or like another goalie who's on the risk of coming out. Maybe Ryan Miller, who knows? It's just Calgary. But so I just want to know how that would play out.
Yeah, like
It's the long term.
Yeah, I think they're like a wild card team, I guess.
Wild card or Pacific. And since it's the Pacific, they can be third. But other than that, it depends what Mike Smith does. If he plays really well and was like 2012 Mike Smith, um, then that team is completely a third place team in
Do
my
they have
opinion.
Eddie Lack? I thought no, right?
Yeah, they do, but Eddie Lack is only strong like one half of the season. It's really what he is. He's not. You don't trust. I don't trust. You don't trust Eddie Lack for like a full blown. If Mike Smith gets injured, then you're in trouble. A little bit of an issue. But other than that, yeah, I think they should. It's a short term option, and that's pretty much what it is. All right, we'll move on. What's the next team?
Vancouver.
Oh God, this team's a rebuilder. That's pretty much all I can say. The Vancouver Canucks have the potential to finish dead last in their division.
But they got Thomas Vanek.
No.
They need to do that to show how radical they are.
No.
They're so radical,
they got-
man.
they
Have you seen
signed
their
a-
social media
Well,
posts?
Okay. They basically are a team that just signed a bunch of guys realizing we can't tank because we suck at tanking.
Yeah, they got Sam Gagne.
They have Sam Gagne, Thomas
Vanek.
Vanek. I think they got Rabada too,
And some
no?
defensemen. No, they didn't get Rabada.
No, who did they get? Oh, was it Florida that got Rabada? Florida got Rabada. Markstrom's the starter, and I'm happy for him. I always kind of like Markstrom. But who's going to be their backup?
I think it's Anders Nielsen or
Anders Nielsen.
I forgot his other name.
Yeah, I think he signed with Vancouver.
Oh no, man!
I don't know. The defense is meh. They got a lot of good pieces in the future, like Brock Besser and Bull Horvat. They're not franchise guys, but they're guys you can build around a certain player. So other than that, they're not tanking right away. They're gonna eventually probably trade half of this roster anyway. If this was a team that had, if Sam Gagne was is full potential actually, and Thomas Vanek was himself like 5 or 6 years ago, this team was like, yeah, this is a decent playoff team. The Sedins are slow. They're just really slow, and it's I think a thing in Vancouver every year is like, who's gonna play with the Sedins? And other than that,
I don't know.
and it was Louis Eriksson last year. I think he went to third line right off the bat. Second line with the third. Louis Eriksson pretty much has to prove himself this year and has to play better. Otherwise, he is out of a job in Vancouver.
I guess they could be a sleeper team, possibly.
No, I don't see this team being a sleeper team.
You just never know.
It's too slow. It's too old. I mean, it's not that they're not developing in today's NHL. Yeah, today's NHL is a youth movement, speed and all that stuff. It's the youth movement of this era, and the team is slow. It's the old.
That's true.
There's no way.
All right, next up's the Coyotes.
Oh, this is an easy answer. No.
Let's go Coyotes.
I have no idea what this team was doing in the offseason. They decided to go on trade Marriott and got Derek Stefan, Jomerson. Antti Ranta's their new starter, and they have Louis Domingue as their backup. So Antti Ranta, if he's getting too much pressure, they have a great, reliable backup. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I think this team kind of shot themselves in the foot. Some people thought this was a great move to get seats in. I'm like, no, this is not a good idea. Jomerson's not going to sell tickets there. I honestly thought this was a terrible idea because, yes, Jomerson almost has, 3 or 4 good years left in him because he's injured after his contract. He might just retire. Is a perfect idea for your franchise. Yes, it might be the perfect line. We have our best franchise player, Adam Larson, and Jomerson. It's going Ekman Larson. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Larson. Ekman Larson. I don't even know who Adam Larson is.
Who the hell is Adam Larson?
I don't know.
Oliver Ekman Larson.
Oliver Ekman Larson. Okay, you Swedes, I get it. And then you have Jomerson, and then that's their pair.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pairing. Though.
It is a pretty good pairing, but I'm like... Yeah, if Jomerson was 26, not now. I mean, I don't know. I feel good for. I feel
first line center.
They did, but now New York just shot themselves in the foot. We're gonna talk about that later. But other than that, I think this team is in the bubble because it's a good enough team than last year. I hope to God Anthony DeClaire finally does something because his career went up and down. Like last year's Coyotes was really good. It was fun to watch, and then they collapsed last minute, and then this team was so dreadful. It was like a terrible disaster.
Yeah.
Ty Domi is a good piece. I feel bad for
Ty
Domi. Max Domi, his son, who is actually good. I'm sorry, man. I'm tired. If Ty Domi was on this team, then this would have just been fun to watch. But other than that, this is a team that's going to be in the mix but not make it. They're going to be like 5th in their division. I think they're better than Vancouver and Vegas, obviously, but... They're the Coyotes.
Radical.
This is their first time they've started without Mike Smith in a while. They had Mike Smith in their starter for a while, and good for him. He's out of this hellhole. But now Antti Ranta is going to start his starting career in a team that's absolutely nothing. And if he doesn't pan out to be a starter, they are screwed. So other than that, I think it's an analytics direction they're going with, which everyone knows. So this either A, can fail horribly, or B, down the line, they can be a fantastic contender. Or they can be the next Florida Panthers, but
all right.
Man,
Coyotes.
Yeah, so 5th. What do you think?
Probably like 5th.
Yeah, 5th.
I'm really gonna disagree with that.
5th, maybe 6th, because there's 8 teams now.
Yeah.
I forgot, but 5th-ish. They should be in that area. I don't see them being 4th. If the Central Division just sucks, they might make the playoffs. But that's just on a good season for the Pacific Division. That doesn't mean anything. But other than that, I see them a 5th or 6th place team. 5th place because I think they're a lot better than any other team, but they're not good enough to make the playoffs.
Like better than Vancouver.
Yeah, see LA actually taking fifth too, so maybe six. I forgot LA existed. I'm so tired. I'm sorry, but
All right,
all
let's
right.
move on to LA.
You know what? It's kind of sad that the LA Kings, who had a chance to be a dynasty, fell off the face of the map the way they did.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. The reason why I see this team kind of fifth, but I honestly see them maybe sixth, fighting for fifth, maybe fourth on a good day, is because they can't score. Their defense is fine. They have Drew Doughty. Anze Kopitar is what, scoring like 12 goals, $10 million. That is worse than Jonathan Tays. Honestly, that's kind of
Yeah.
worse. Jonathan Tays, yes, is overpaid, but Anze Kopitar, for 12 goals, that is completely criminal that they're paying him that money. He needs to step up his game. Everyone needs to score. Dustin Brown, I think they should get rid of. I don't understand why they're just trading prospects and getting veterans. It's just a disaster. Jonathan Quick is the only reason this team is basically the Montreal Canadiens of the West. If he's gone, this team's done. But other than that,
Mm-hmm.
but they were better because they actually won games with the backup. But instead, what they did, instead of getting an actual player to help them, they traded for a goalie for no reason, which was a great idea because trading Peter Dubai was a fantastic idea. I completely cringed when they did that. Jerome McGinley, I don't think he's signed yet. It was a good
Jerome again.
Jerome McGinley. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce names,
He
but
can't pronounce names.
he was a great player. I think
Heck
for
yeah.
he was decent in LA, but I mean,
Jerome again.
come on, that was a veteran. It was a move they should have took if they want to make the playoffs. But getting Ben Bishop made
Yeah.
no sense to me, especially when Jonathan Quick was coming back. Peter Dubai proved that he was the starter of that team for a while. He was a fantastic, great goalie. I made the argument. Many people are like he can be a backup again in the NHL. I'm like, I think he could be a starter. I don't understand why Calgary can take him, but people are like, well, no, he might not play good on certain games. But I'm like, this was his best NHL season probably in a while. So yeah, it just didn't make sense. I think Peter Dubai could have just led that team to the playoffs, and if they got an actual defenseman, but they didn't. Instead, they just did a ridiculous trade. But I mean, I understand why Tampa did it because they have two goalies and they need to get rid of one for Vasilevsky, who's overhyped. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I see this team as six because they can't score. If they can score and Jonathan Quick's good and Drew Doughty, who is really good, they can be a fifth or fourth place team right off the bat. It's just if they do the exact same thing last year, I see this team
All
as a
right.
sixth place team.
Kings.
I honestly see the Coyotes a little bit better than them at times.
Wow. That's interesting.
It is times because I said they're fifth or sixth. This team is the
Yeah.
same. They're a fifth or sixth place team in the middle. I think they probably in my gut and heart told me that they're probably going to finish fifth place anyway. But I honestly think they're going to finish sixth. So other than that, it's confusing. But I just don't see this team being good.
Yeah. Next up, the Sharks.
Oh crap, they exist too. I think this is San Jose's last good year to make a really good shot at the cup.
Heck yeah.
I think they're going to be one of the top four teams in the league, maybe a third place, not in the league. I mean, the division could be top 10 in the league, but
Could be.
I say they're in that third place range. Calgary is for third place. I think they're going to be in the top three at the end, so probably a solid third. Anaheim second, and Edmonton's going to be first when we get there.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I mean, like, as a Sharks fan,
you go pick it away.
I don't know. I don't really know what to think anymore. Marlowe left, didn't get anything back.
I mean, he's kind of old, so what would you get back?
I mean, someone to sign. I mean, they had $8 million cap space. They haven't really done anything with it. I mean, Doug Wilson usually makes trades too.
Yeah.
In situations like that, hasn't made a trade, and I don't understand. Like, you could have tried to get rid of Mikhail Balker. He's just a contract that's gonna start building up in there now.
Yeah, I remember you were one of those guys that are like, I'm sick and tired of all these people saying he can skate and not score. He's gonna prove himself this year. Then the season, he just like what doesn't do it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I told you.
But, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of pressure now. on Hurdle and Timo Meyer now. So
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
it's
I think this is a
question
perfect
for
place
sure.
to sign Yager or Laginla. It's a perfect timing to do that if they want to take pressure off of them.
Yeah, but I think it's the right time too for
Them to
Hurdle
step up.
especially.
Yeah, to step up.
But I mean, we still have Jones. He's
Oh, yeah, I
like
think
5
he's
years
one-
left in him.
5 years left, I think 6.
He's
I love how the
he's pretty
NHL
young.
Network.
He's not even 30 yet.
Yeah, I think he has like 10 good years left in the NHL.
Maybe
Six
six or
is a
seven,
really
yeah.
good goalie, and then 10
Their
years as a
defense
starter.
is good, but is aging. Paul Martin's like 38 now, but he's still good enough to be a top 4 defenseman. But
Yeah,
I think the
so-
Sharks could be like a third or second place team. It just depends on what happens to Calgary, in my opinion.
Yeah, Calgary, it depends. I think they're a solid third place team. I just see
Oh man.
Anaheim in them. I don't see them getting home
Yeah, probably
advantage in
like
the playoffs.
second or third. I think Anaheim could be second, and the Sharks would be third.
Yeah, it
And
depends how.
oh, who we're talking about next? Edmonton's probably gonna be first. Probably.
You and me know that we're gonna go on the first place bandwagon on them. But other
Yeah.
than that,
So let's hop on the bandwagon with Edmonton.
yes, let's do that. All right, the Edmonton Oilers. This is pretty much the only solid prediction that we're going to say
Let's go.
is going to be first.
Edmonton.
All of our predictions have basically,
Just
except
shocking.
Anaheim, were like second or thirdish. We were like Calgary could be like a fourth or fifth place team, and that same as that. But I think Edmonton's going to be first because McDavid pretty much can take that team to the first
McDavid.
place. Cam Tablet, of 70 games, was a fantastic goalie. I think he's really underrated, and I think he was robbed of a Vezina voting spot. Their defense, they don't have that top defenseman, but with McDavid, they could get away with it. I don't think that will make them like a modern day or a dynasty if Pittsburgh wins. But other than that, that this team should be in the contender. They got their core kind of set. They have Tablet, Draisaitl, and McDavid. And this is Yakupov's, I think, last year as an Oiler too because of his contract. He's not Yakupov. Nushkin Hopkins. Yakupov is a disaster. But other than that, Nushkin Hopkins, my bad. He's a really good third line center. I think he will compete probably a top six center everywhere else. Or we'll get a shot at that because it's Edmonton, but or maybe he'll take a discount. Who knows?
I mean, they don't have Jordan Albry anymore. He's an Islander.
Jordan Albry was all right. He was all right. I hope if we get to that Islanders video, I hope Jordan Albry finally is the one good line mate that John Tavares has.
Yeah.
Because that was such a downgrade to see Andrew Latin. It was kind of sad that the Islanders actually did that and he didn't show up like the first half. He played good the second half. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I think Ken Tablet, is going to be ahead of the game. I think he's one of the best goalies in the league. I'm not saying that because I'm like bandwagon or Ken Tablet bandwagon. If you play 70 games and actually win, you have a shot of winning. Honestly, if I think McDavid was in a game with the net with Ben Scrivens or one of them, I think they would be the team last year when he was introduced in the league earlier. I think the team would just been a disaster. Ken Tablet in Edmonton has been fine. Yes, last year they were in last place, but he was the goalie. It wasn't like Ben Scrivens where the goaltending was atrocious. And by the way, is probably Canada's starter in the Olympics. So when you're going in February, you're watching NBC Olympics, and you're like, oh my God, I'm watching Ben Scrivens.
That's great.
Oh, that's going to be great. I can't wait for those jokes to happen. Oh my God.
All right, so.
But yeah, Edmonton's probably going to be a first place team. Reality, they might not, but everyone's saying that. They have the shot of doing it. They have the best team to do it. This is the best team they had in years. I swear if they have a fallback where they just dramatically fall back or do a Florida. Or do what the Panthers do and just go full analytics and ruin this team, I would laugh. But other than that, this is a really good team for Edmonton. Edmonton's no longer a joke, sadly. So that means the Pacific Division actually might be meaningful again. But other than that, yeah, with contenders. I'm sorry. I mean, sorry about your Sharks. I meant like with contenders who will win Stanley Cups like regularly, like Chicago did. That's what I meant. Not teams that were here and then get killed.
So last team is the Golden Knights. I really think there's.
The Vegas Golden Knights. Let's just get this over with. I'm not pausing it. Vegas Golden Knights. They're crap. They're gonna be disaster because. They're in second to last. I honestly see them better than Vancouver, and there's reasons why. Marc-Andre Fleury it's Marc-Andre Fleury.
Maybe
they have a starter. They have a starter.
No, but maybe.
They don't. Vancouver doesn't have a starter. We don't know if Markstrom's a good starter. Also, yes, the young pieces are good, but Shivachev and Neal can carry that team to at least 30 wins. It's not going to be like Ottawa where they're just like completely bad, or Washington where they only had 8 wins. Don't even think that. This is a better NHL. They have good pieces. If Shipachev turns well, their defense is completely overstacked. You need to trade some of them. And it might not be a good defense, but it's good enough to get you at least 20 wins. I see Vancouver struggling because, one, they're going to tank at the end of the year, so they're not going to get all these wins. And 2, Vegas isn't going to tank at the end of the year. They're going to keep that same team. Why on earth are they going to tank? Their team's already perfectly set for a tank.
Oh, crap.
You dropped your phone. So the Vegas Golden Knights... They're probably going to be second to last or dead last in the division. It will be a miracle if Marc-Andre Fleury sets the clock 5 years and takes his team to the playoffs. That's basically the only hope they have. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so hope you guys enjoy the video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Get that hot new merch in the link, bro, in the bio.
We have merch.
No.
Don't look at the bio. Don't sue us for slandering. But
Just want to be a Jake Pauler, man.
yeah, okay.
Bye.
Bye.